In this video, I'm going to share with you my biggest hack to turn insights into action. When we are on our growth journeys, we are constantly looking for gems of knowledge that will help us level up wherever we can. After reading an article, listening to a podcast, or watching that video, we tend to feel motivated and ready to change the world. But more often than not, after digesting the material, our life doesn't end up changing much for the better. But why is that? My name is Conrad, and I'm a creator that is endlessly passionate about finding new ways to solve everyday challenges. And today, I want to teach you how you can exponentially increase the efficiency of your learning with systems. You'll learn about mental models and how you can break down complex ideas into actionable steps to follow. Let's get right into it. First, I want to help you understand the important concepts of mental models. Mental models are how we understand the world and make decisions. The world is full of stimuli, and we cannot keep all the details in our brains, so we often use models to simplify complex ideas into understandable and actionable first principles. An easy way to think about this is that we all have programs inside our brains that help us make decisions automatically based on our past experiences. Whenever we learn something new, we are adding new information to the model, and the quality of our thinking is dependent on the models inside our heads and their usefulness in the situation at hand. For example, because we have the mental model of gravity, we know that when we drop a ball, it will fall to the ground. We learn our mental models from our life experiences and our professional training, and is often apparent when we see an engineer thinking in systems, a psychologist in incentives, and a biologist in terms of evolution. Training new models is extremely difficult because our brain tries to reject new information that challenges our understanding of the world. This is why we tend to favor information that agrees with our way of thinking, which is a phenomenon called confirmation bias. This is a survival instinct because if we act on the wrong information and change what is currently working, we may get into trouble. So we usually don't upgrade our mental models unless in life or death situations. This is one of the main reasons why we end up reverting back to old routines soon after we decide to change. So what can we do to break down this resistance and learn as fast as we can? One of my favorite growth hacks is to apply business concepts to personal life. We already have so many proven models on how to grow companies sustainably that I've found great success in using these models in personal development. So let's use a professional example to illustrate my point. The best leaders are able to break down complex processes into actionable steps so that others can follow in their footsteps. They do this so that their team can perform complex tasks without requiring a full understanding and memorization of the fundamentals behind the entire workflow and output similar levels of work. For example, instead of having to teach a new employee from scratch how to write a blog, they can simply share a checklist that details out the steps and best practices to fleshing out an outline, defining the audience, writing the content, publishing on social media, and so on. Eventually, the new team member will remember the steps through immersion and enhance the process through experience. Building a system can be as simple as making a checklist or as complex as creating a whole life management system. It really is whatever works best for you. But whenever you create a system, here are the best practices that you should keep in mind. First, break down the new learning you've absorbed into the why, what, and hows. Ask why the concept works for the creator, what does the concept do, and finally, how is it achieved? Let's go through a personal example. Last year, I listened to an amazing TED Talk by Tim Ferriss about fear setting, where he shared an exercise from his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, on how he tackled fears that were holding him back on his big decisions in his life. In the talk, Tim shared that he used to have lots of fears that were holding him back in life, and thus he wanted to use fears to his advantage instead of letting them take advantage. The outcome he was looking for was a way to take action on his worst fears that were paralyzing him. How he did it was to clearly define the fear instead of keeping it vague and scary, and exploring actions that would prevent the situation from happening, and then making a plan on what he would do to repair the situation if it happened anyways. He considered the cost of inaction. Next, take what is useful for the current situation you're in, because if you're not able to apply your knowledge immediately, you will most likely not remember it. When I was watching the talk, I didn't have any big fears that I was running away from, but rather many micro fears that I knew motivated a lot of my decisions and actions. I knew that my fears, while keeping me productive, made me anxious and uncertain about the future. Thus, I knew I had to also define my fears and connect them to my goals so that I can feel at ease knowing that I am taking active steps to tackle the fear, and even if my goals don't prevent the situations, it will be okay because I had a contingency plan. Knowing that this eureka moment was realistically going to only last me a few days at most, I built in a step of defining and relating fears in my workflow when creating new goals. Lastly, make it shareable. Systems built on first principles should be applicable across a wide audience of people who face similar challenges to you. This offers you the opportunity to help others who would also benefit from your learning and immediately make that learning actionable. It was very helpful to apply this concept for my friends and family that were plagued by thoughts of the worst case scenarios 24/7. This template helped them write down all their fears and rid their anxiety by setting a clear success plan flow to tackle each and every one of their perceived fears. Then they could concentrate on a singular fear at a time and know that they are making positive progress towards the things that are keeping them up at night. And finally, they know that even if they are not able to prevent the fear from actualizing, it might not actually be that bad because they've defined what they can do to repair the situation. Real quick, if you like the content I've shared in this video so far, please do drop us a like and subscribe. It helps our channel reach more people like you. Let us know in the comments one piece of learning that you'd like to take action on and why, and we'll see if we can build a system around it. Systems are an accumulation of mental models designed to help you think in new ways by following a workflow or checklist, which makes it easier for you to train the new model and see the results for yourself. What we've done inside the CoX3 family is to take the best of the world's knowledge and integrate their first principles into systems. We're doing this because we know it's extremely difficult to take action on your learning. Knowledge today is ubiquitous, but there is not enough education on how to make the things you learn useful in your life. I like creating templates in Notion because it makes building and sharing systems easy. We can simply invite other people as editors onto any page we'd like and also duplicate templates to take to our own workspaces. We're on a mission to build systems that help us live with intention, improve productivity, and make work fun. We've learned from the greats to distill their knowledge into templates that we can all benefit from. Let's show you how this works. Our systems are completely modular and you simply take what you need. With the Build Your Own System, we have detailed tutorials where you can learn all about the theory behind each template and a simple way to get started with each component. So for example, you can learn exactly how we determine our purpose, plan for success, find our rhythm, conduct review cycles, handle recurring tasks, do fear management, skill management, household management, and just so many more templates, all geared to helping you take control over your life. You can also learn how to customize your systems by going to our Academy page by clicking any of our Academy links inside your system and learning the intention behind each template and what it can do. You can easily search for any template inside our system in here. So for example, healthcare. And you can see our template for healthcare management. We open it up and we can see, this is how the medical tracker works. The components inside the system can be modified and explored inside the backend, where you can easily take on new views and see how everything connects. For example, I can open up daily quests and I can see the different dashboards that showcase this template, how I can set it up, so the tutorials found inside the Build Your Own System, and also new views where I can see exactly how this template can be used. For example, I can see a breakdown of my daily quest progression per day. I can also see a completed view for the daily quests I have, switching from morning to midday to evening routines. Oh, and I'm just so excited about this, so I want to share, we're also working on a fascinating new onboarding journey that will be completely gamified, where you can select your avatar and class to get very specific guidelines on how you can get started for different stages of life and personality types. You'll be able to see dialogues, mission logs, and just easy ways for you to learn how to use the system to hand in your quest and have a gamified experience. Let us know in the comments if this is exciting for you, because I'm just so excited to share this with the world once it's ready. Our goal is to help you upgrade your mental models through the use of systems and teach you how to augment the systems to fit your own unique lives. We also love to learn, so we want to build new templates together with you. Join us on our Friday live builds on Fridays 9 p.m. Eastern to have direct influence over what we build next. And if you want to learn the principles behind being intentional and gamifying your life to integrate into any system that you want, we've just opened signups for the next cohort of our Level Up course. Signups close on May 3rd. Huge thanks to our patrons in the last few months. It's officially been 1 year since we started our humble community, and we're so proud that we were able to do so much in such a short period of time. We're committing to a pretty intense content schedule moving forward to share new learnings with the world, all thanks to folks like you, so thank you so much for your ongoing support. Your support means the world to us and keeps this project going. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week ahead, and remember, be intentional.